Hello, friend. Welcome to 10 Bestest, where we sift through the noise so you don't have to. I'm Karen McFarlane-Holman.
And I'm Brian Hart.
Today, I'm going to tell you about a language that's becoming extinct.
And I'm going to share a not-so-dry kitchen hacks. Let's get to it.
My cool sheet, I'm going to be talking about a language, and this is Hawaiian Sign Language. I want to talk about Hawaiian Sign Language because not only was it just recently acknowledged by linguists as an actual language in 2013, but it is on the brink of extinction, and I'll share more about that in a minute. First, I want to give a background on sign language. About 5% of humans around the world have disabling hearing loss, and some of them are able to use devices such as implants or hearing aids to help them, but many use sign language to communicate with each other and with interpreters. Depending on where you live, there are different sign languages such as ASL, American Sign Language, that's used in the United States. But if you go somewhere else, even if their spoken word language is the same, the sign language that's used by the deaf communities in that area could be very different, such as British Sign Language being distinct from ASL. In terms of Hawaiian Sign Language, I'll call that HSL. From what linguists can tell, it was thriving in the 1800s by a small number of deaf Hawaiians, but it was maintaining itself, and it appears to have origins in the Hawaiian language, not influenced by English or ASL, American Sign Language. Many times, colonized countries have a sign language dialect that either grows out of the colonizer's sign language or becomes influenced by it, but this was not the case with Hawaiian. And an interesting thing about HSL is that it truly seems to be distinct from American Sign Language, and one of the ways that it is known is that ASL uses the general grammar construct of subject, verb, object, but Hawaiian Sign Language uses subject, object, followed by verb. There are other clues as well. HSL is truly its own language. However, right now, there are only 30 or so people in the world who know and use HSL. This language is truly on the brink of extinction, and there are several linguists who are working to prevent this from happening. And one way is to get as many hours as possible of Hawaiian signing in HSL and spread that to the world. Hawaiian Sign Language.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. That is so fascinating. Yeah, I didn't know that, I knew there were other forms, but I just learned that not too long ago, too many years ago, that it wasn't just ASL, even though I know what ASL stood for. And I was a typical, American that was like, oh, it's just ours and that's it. There are no other languages.
Right. So speaking of, you've talked about a cool sheet that is about lists of lists before, and I am really wondering, because I looked a lot into all the different sign languages, and there are so many. There is a mind-blowing number, mind-blowing to me, because I didn't know before that. And so I would love to look in your list of lists that you've talked about and see about different sign languages.
Yes, absolutely. So, and I know that they had a list of endangered languages. That was one of them. And so I hope it's there.
I hope so too.
Maybe we can add it, because I think you can do that on Wikipedia. I've never actually done it. But that's something to look up.
That would be great.
Yes. So, yes, we'll check the list of lists and see if it's there. And if not, maybe we'll add that to that list.
Yeah.
Ah, so cool.
I know. I hope it doesn't go away. I hope that it's not lost.
I know. There's always I've definitely changed this. I was like, I do wish there was like kind of a universal language. And people will argue that it is English and
Esperanto.
Well, I know that that's what it's supposed to be, for sure, and that could be a cool sheet too.
I took an Esperanto class.
Oh, I've studied Esperanto quite a bit on my own. I love it.
Yeah.
Definitely, that should be a future cool sheet.
Yes.
But
mine.
I kind of did. That's funny because I was gonna call it, but anyway, I think I did because I brought it up.
But I was thinking it. Okay. Anyway.
Yes, sidetracked by calling dibs.
I know, we're like...
So the same thing, I always kind of wish there was one sign language or one language that it was universal, but it's just you can't do it. And plus, that being said, definitely honor the other ones where they came from, their heritage, and keep them alive. They should not be extinct.
Yeah. Yes.
I just wish more people communicate, and it's mostly probably me because I don't take the time to learn languages.
It's you.
Wow, you're really attacking me right now.
Hey, just trying to mix it up.
Yeah. All right.
And to find out more about this,
Yes.
10bestest.com/gum. We have all of our show notes there.
Yes. All right. I am going to be talking about a kitchen hack, and this is dry roasting things. So I'm going to talk about seeds, I'm going to talk about nuts, and I'm going to talk about peppers. So first I'm going to talk about jarred spices. Now, yes, I have some, and they are good to have as a backup when you get in big trouble, but let's be honest, jarred spices are crap. They just don't taste as good. You never know how long they've been on your shelf, let alone the grocery store shelf. They're old, they're dull, they don't taste that good. They're just not flavorful, especially once you start using fresh ingredients. Now, I touched on this in episode 30. I talked about using fresh ingredients, but I really want to dive in on spices because it makes such a difference. So when you crush them, that's good. First of all, we have seeds, right? So we have cumin seeds if you're watching on YouTube, and that's really good. Like, this is better than just these cumin seeds. So already you're doing better than just store-bought cumin powder that you might have. But when you grind those up, so, it's good and it smells great. I wish I could share the smell of it on YouTube, but it's a light, nutty color. But when you roast them, so this releases the oils and the extra flavor. And I mean, you can smell this. We've been smelling it the entire series of videos, and it is just, you can tell there's way more flavor happening right now. You are not smelling that with these seeds, and definitely not this old jar. That is all from these roasted herbs. So it tastes so much different. I do want you to experiment on how they taste and what they're good for. Some recipes do call for not roasting things. You just grind them up and, use your coffee bean grinder, this cheap one, use that for spices, and then use a better grinder for your coffee beans. But if you really want to go for it, use a mortar and pestle, then that grinds them by a stone, and it actually releases more flavors than the shearing does of a blade. So definitely try some dry roasting.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Okay, bring that a little bit closer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, so nice. It smells so good.
So for the people on the podcast, we're sniffing ground
Yes.
spices right now,
Yes.
and it is delightful.
I'm sticking my nose in it. This was roasted.
So that's roasted.
Okay.
Yeah, so smell the difference. So this is regular, still quite pungent. And I just did those this evening. That I did like 3 or 4 days ago. So,
Interesting.
But there is a difference for sure.
Yeah.
Of the aroma, they're both strong. So you don't necessarily get a stronger smell. It's just different. You can definitely smell the difference though, for sure.
Yeah, this is lighter and sweeter. That was not roasted, and then the roasted smells like nuttier.
Yeah.
It's
Usually
really nice.
you feel that nuttier, that's a common thing. And a lot of that is because of the caramelization and the Maillard reaction, all these really cool sciencey things happening. That one I will give to you. You should do the Maillard reaction
Yes.
next. I would love
Yes,
that.
yes.
For sure, because I've talked about it a few times, but I want to know more about the science behind it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it will instantly really kick your food to 11 and separate you. People will just like, oh my gosh, how'd you do this? This is so great.
Yeah.
What's your secret? And you can disclose it or not if you want to.
Ooh, keep it secret.
But it's super easy. You just put them on a pan, turn the heat, keep it low, watch it definitely. And so you do the seeds. You do that in the seed form first. So you roast these
smell those.
seeds. And then once they get that flavor and you'll start to really smell them, and then either use a seed grinder, which I do all the time, or if you really want to take a little time and make it a little practice, put them in here and just grind them. And oh my gosh,
Yes.
it is heaven.
A nice
It won't
meditative
last as,
practice.
yes, absolutely. Make it a little ritual. And really enjoy the process. It won't last as long as these do, but as it lasts longer, the flavor just goes down to nothing. So
Yeah.
it definitely makes a difference.
And doing it fresh. Do you try to do it in small batches to keep it as fresh as possible?
I do. Now, this will last for 3 or 4 weeks. So, that's a decent time. But yeah, I try to do it in small batches so then I get that freshness more so because I don't want this to sit around for 6 months.
Yes,
because then
right.
you're basically, it's still going to be better. Guaranteed this is probably 5 years old, I mean, it's just...
now I want to compare
Yeah,
that.
so, I mean, just like, what is it? I don't even know.
It's like nothing.
Yeah.
It's not even...
And that's like a decent brand, you know, whatever. It's a co-op version. It's a hippie version. But yeah, I don't know. We can't even tear it up. But it's like, yeah, it's like nothing. Now it's a different, I don't think that's
No,
actually
it's like this
human,
is
but it's
empty.
different and it just
can't
smells
smell it
like
at all.
nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is coriander, I think, which is very similar. But it's like zip. Compare, like there's no question. Once you just smell it, there's no question what's going to have more flavor. For
Also,
sure.
I wanted to point something else out. And so I always, when I make smoothies, I use ground flax seeds. And I use my coffee grinder to freshly grind them each time. Because when you freshly grind the flax seeds, it allows the omega-3s to freshly be exposed and then get into you better. But if you grind them all or buy your flaxseed pre-ground, then all the omega-3s oxidize and they're no good.
Yeah,
You're-
absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean,
doing it fresh
by this
is also-
smell, you gotta know that it has more nutrients in it.
Yeah.
More flavor, more everything.
Yep.
Absolutely.
More everything.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for keeping it spicy.
You're welcome.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining us, friend. I'm Karen McFarland-Holman.
And I'm Brian Hart.
Let us know, what language would you like to learn?
And let us know in the comments below, what's your favorite kitchen hack?
If you're enjoying the show, please give us a like and share it with a friend.
Stay tuned next week for another great series of shows.
Don't forget to stay curious.